Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bedomy and this is Blackguards. This is a one word, not two separate words that I mixed together. But then again, you people can read, so you can see this is called Blackguards. Anyway, this is I'm gonna say a fantasy-styled XCOM RPG. It is developed by Eurovideo and published by Deadlick Entertainment, of all people. Which is honestly weird, considering the fact that from my previous knowledge, Deadlick Entertainment usually published 2D point-and-click adventures. And this is the main reason why I got the game. It's because I wanted to play a couple of Dark Eye themed point-and-click adventures, and they came in a bundle with this game, which serves as a prequel to those two. And if you're wondering, Black Eye is basically the German version of Dungeons and Dragons. So we will see some we'll see a lot of dungeons and maybe a couple of dragons. But if the logo of the game is anything to go by, we will fight a dragon eventually. To be fair, I did fight against worshippers of a dragon, and the dragon did bombard my characters during one mission, so we will encounter a dragon as we go on. But anyway, this is a German-inspired. This is the universe of Dark Eye, and I am relatively speaking new to it. So, if there are old-time fans of this game, I would appreciate if you could tell me a bit more about the game in the comments, or just contact me over Discord if you know if I missed something in the game itself. Anyway, let's take a look at the options menu, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with the amount of options presented. I mean, these are all the necessary options you have to have in a PC game, basically. The difficulty, language, tutorials, and then some minor gameplay tweaks. For example, Bell log is pretty much necessary in this game, since you can see what the enemies did, and you can also see why some of your spells didn't work if you have a bad throw, basically. Yes, this game is pretty much a virtual version of a Dungeons and Dragons session. So expect some spells to not even work, or some arrow shots to fail. Well, when I say fail, I mean miss, as well as some sword swings. I'm gonna try with detailed bell lock. And as for the movement, you have a grid of movement which dictates how many spaces you can move, and if you move too much, you cannot take an action. I'm gonna say it's an interesting gameplay style. I am a big fan of these types of games, since I play XCOM a lot. But anyway, that's it for the options and the general options. The sound options are, well, as you can see it for yourself. All the necessary sliders are here. The master, music, audio effects, and voice sliders they're all separate, and you could adjust them to your own personal preference. Graphical options are, I'm gonna say, some things are lacking. For example, I cannot choose if I want to play this game in full screen or in windowed mode. And for the sake of this video, I am playing this in the full screen, but I would recommend that you play this in windowed mode. While the game did come out in 2014, it was not well optimized for the modern systems. I had to run the compatibility test and put it into Windows XP in order to get it to work properly. And what I mean by that is the game will either crash on startup, or it will freeze mid cutscene or mid fight, and then you will have to struggle with lowering the window or just getting the task manager open just to close it off. Don't try activating windowed mode over Steam; it does not work. The only workaround around this is to press Alt and Enter to get at the same time so you can get into windowed mode. And I would recommend that you play like this. I tell you what, I'm just gonna put the necessary. I'm just gonna put these hints on top of the screen so you can see what I did and what worked. But yeah, do not play, if you can, avoid playing in full screen. Anyway, as for the graphical options that we do have, we can adjust the quality of textures, shadows, terrain, and visual effects. We can turn aniso filtering and VSync on or off, as well as anti-aliasing. And that's about it. And for controls, they are set in stone. You cannot rebind the keys to it. You cannot rebind the keys. You have to use the control setup that's been made for you. Granted, this is made by a German studio, so they do follow a certain logic. Well, they know how to use logic on what people will most probably use, and they utilize the controls to be user-friendly. So you don't have to, for example, go forward, you don't have to press F and then hold Shift and plus with it to move a couple of pixels upwards. Or you don't have to skin a or you don't have to defeather a chicken and make it dance on top of your bed while defecating itself in front of your puppy in order to cast a spell. But I kind of wish that the game would let you change your map settings and everything. But then again, this entire game can be played with simply the mouse. So, for what it's worth, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the options menu. I wish there were some tweaks to it, and that the resolution and that the windowed mode was actually put in, or the issue with, or the compatibility issues were fixed. But all in all, the game is fun. Honestly, I will show you what I mean by that right now. Let's not start an old game. Let's show you the basic character creation first and foremost. So as you can see, this is your default character, and as you can see, the graphical quality and the graphical quality and level of presentation on the character models are pretty solid, honestly. When I change armors and other accessories such as gloves and boots and okay, weapons and shields, they're visually, you could see them. If you put on a ring or something else, it won't be shown, but it's a nice little touch that shows you that your character is wearing what you put on him. You can choose between male and female characters and go between several pre-made faces. So for now, I think I'm not gonna start a new campaign or anything. I'm just gonna give you a quick demonstration. So let's make a spellcaster Anne, and take a look at the character sheet. So as you can see, we have a lot of different attributes that can be upgraded with our experience or ability points, which will affect our basic values, such as our health, resistances, and attack capabilities, and also our health and resistance to magic and other types of damage. There is also this is where things get interesting for those of you who like RPGs, like serious RPGs. Well, okay, to be honest, this is not a serious RPG. It's everything is on rails. There, you don't have much in a way of choosing how your character will reply or what's his personality. But I do like the idea that you can customize your character's fighting ability to suit your own playstyle. And as you can see, we have quite a selection of weapons and other talents and spells. So for now, I'm just gonna upgrade my my mage to be a little more, a little more defensive oriented with her staff. But I will upgrade her. But I will purchase a couple of spells for her. A couple of more. A couple of. Okay, no, I'm just trying to figure out which spell do I want to use on her. But as you can see, we have a couple of offensive spells as well as a couple of debuffs, buffs, and healing spells. And depending on your playstyle, you can go full attack on with one character and let other characters protect you, or you can be a jack of all trades and fill up the gap in your own team's composition when you enter the fight. So as you can see, we have 5 different categories: weapon talents, regular talents, which are passive bonuses for your, well, not only passive but also active bonuses and abilities that your character can use once he's in a fight. So, for example, a streetwise character will get extra speed on urban areas such as cities and ruins. Well, mostly cities. Maybe a couple of villages. And he or she is quite capable of negotiating or haggling with the traders for a better deal. Weapon talents well, as you already saw, you can upgrade your weapon talents to a maximum of 8, and then choose if you're going to be more focused on defending yourself with the said weapon, or if you're going to be more offensive with the said weapon. So for me, I'm just going to keep this on balance at the moment, but yes, as you can see, I will focus a lot on willpower. I will focus more on spell-based character, and also choose a couple of special abilities. So let's see, cleverness. Yeah. So yeah, as you can already see, as I'm upgrading my character, I'm depleting AP or experience, and that in turn makes my character stronger. And depending on how much of specific attributes do I have upgraded, I can unlock special abilities. I just realized what I said. But yes, some special abilities are either passive or active abilities that you can use in a fight, or, well, mostly in a fight, considering this is a mostly action-oriented game. As you can see, I can also choose my starting gear. And I can also demonstrate what will happen if if certain characters equip undesired item. What happens if you put certain equipment on a specific type of a character. So as you saw, my character is a spellcaster. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna be a pervert. I mean, I'm not a pervert. Okay, never mind. So as you can see, if I remove parts of armor, it will show. Luckily, it won't be my character won't be completely exposed. But depending on which type of clothing I'm wearing, my hero will be better defended against specific effects, such as if I'm attacked by an opponent who's using a hammer or a mace, I'll be more. For example, if I'm using a leather armor, I'll be more defended against slashing and piercing attacks than from bashing attacks such as maces and axes, for example. And as the game goes by, I will get starting items such as I'll get other items such as throwing knives or axes, healing potions, traps, bandages, and potions that I need to survive. So be careful of how you you have to be careful about how your item composition, since your main inventory in the game can be filled to a specific weight. You have a weight limit on how much stuff you can carry, so your party will carry all of this together. But if you want to equip specific items, you'll have to buy a belt on the set character and then equip him with a specific weapon set, which can be changed 3 times. Well, you have 3 weapon sets that can be changed whenever you like, but make sure it's after you get your character out of danger or if you're really in a pinch, because once you switch weapons, that's the end of your turn. So yes, you have different categories of weapons and armors, as well as items, and your character, depending on which character class you're playing, your character can or cannot use specific armor sets or weapons. So for now, let's skip the boring part and let's get to the meat and potatoes of the game, which is the gameplay itself. So as you can see already on the loading screen, this is how most of our fights most of the game will look like. You will be thrown into a map with a hexable grid, and you will have to fight opponents on a turn-based basis. Anyway, welcome to the dungeon that my party is currently held at. This is a bit I'll try to avoid spoilers, but this is a pretty good place to start off, since it's technically a town of sorts, where you can go and purchase better equipment or potions, depending on your own personal what you need. Weapons, armor, necessary ammunition, or just potions and other consumables. And depending on how you play your characters, you can be more oriented towards using gadgets, but those are fairly limited in usage. So I would recommend that you get a bigger belt and stock up, and have your teammates be ready with healing spells or a potion or a bandage in the most basic case. Sad thing about the game is you're limited to 2 to 4 items depending on the belt you're wearing. So let's see if wish to bring a healing potion with you. You will also have to consider what this will already give you. Will only limit you to a single slot for a special item of your choice. So, for example, I'm gonna go with a little more offensive hero and give him a healing potion and a throwing weapon that he can throw at his enemies. As for my dwarven tank, I think he's better off with a second healing potion, just in case something happens, and so on. Depending on the character we're playing with, he or she is going to have specific strengths and weaknesses. So as you can see, I have my party is at full at the moment. We didn't discover any more party members, but I think this is the maximum number of party members we can take into battle. And as the story progresses, you will encounter other characters that will either join you or help you in a different way. So
Still alive, are you?
So, for example, yes, we can talk to other people in towns or dungeons and get...
Can you teach us something else?
And get trained by them, as you can already see. The special abilities that are special abilities that we could unlock at the start of the game have a limit on how much you can unlock, how many special abilities you can unlock at the beginning, or you can actually just focus on. You can focus on special abilities, but once you spend all your points, you will have to find a trainer to teach you or to unlock other special abilities. These are usually cost you quite a bit of ability points, and they also have some prerequisites that you have to follow. So as you can see, for a ranged spell, I need to have my basic traits of cleverness and intuition higher. And as the game progresses, I will get more experience that can be spent on talents and other necessities. Or I can simply talk to a healer.
Or on with you.
Well, depending on town to town, some towns only have a healer or just a merchant that will trade with us or give us a quest, depending on the city. And in every city, you can actually find a tavern where you can rest and then partake in, then go off on, and then go off on another adventure. At the moment, I do not require the healer's services, but we're all healed up. I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of why do you need a healer. Healers basically remove the debuffs that your party takes on after prolonged fights. So if you get injured, your character will have a red line going across his portrait, and that will affect a lot of his traits. So you try to keep the damage you get to a minimum and maximize the damage output you give as the game goes on. If you're not injured but your party did lose some health, is exhausted from a fight or just lost a lot of mana, just go to an inn and rest up. It will replenish your health and mana quickly. It's pretty cheap it's relatively cheap when it comes to money, but considering the fact that I'm already semi-rich I'm pretty rich already. Paying for 1 gold a night is not too much of a problem. So consider your options. Consider how you spend your money before you actually go to a healer. If you do not have any red markings on your portraits, just go to an inn and rest for the day, and your characters will be healed up without as equally effective at a lower cost. So for now, let's just take a look at the combat of the game. And I just remembered I saved
Welcome, good people of Mengbila. Over the next 3 days, you will witness the bloodiest fights our proud arena has ever seen. I, the humble Marwan al-Ahmad ibn Khadim's, give you the Battle of the 9 Hordes. Will our 5 heroes be able to free the maiden Aurelia from the claws of evil? Salute those who are about to die. Let the games begin!
You're the gladiators. Please give your best. I don't want to die.
Aurelia.
What? You? What?
Behold, the first horde, Mengbila. we'll start easily enough. But beware, even red furs dream of fame, blood, and glory.
How did you get here?
Not now.
So yes, as you already saw, the game's voice acting is pretty enjoyable, if I do say so myself. It's not John DiMaggio or Chris Sabat or Real level, but it is rather entertaining to listen to. And also, you already spotted the animation, how the facial animation goes. The jaws of any character just simply dislocates from the rest of the head and goes down and then pops back up. But anyway, the animation and camera work, and not to mention the lighting and audio effects and music, really make up for it. Story-wise, the game is a pretty simple plot of revenge. You were accused of a murder you didn't commit, and now you're trying to find the people responsible and get rid of them. On your way, you encounter other characters, and then
Poison.
and partake in dangerous missions. So as you saw, I really didn't pay attention or use my perception, so I walked into a couple of traps. But luckily, I turned in then, so I could use my perception a little better. And now I know where the traps are. So for the time being, we'll just position our characters into somewhat defensive unit, somewhat defensive formation, so we can cover our flanks and deal some damage. And we will also demonstrate how the game works. So as you can see already, there is a limit of how much you. There is a movement limit to your characters, and every movement. Well, these movements are divided by two. The dark blue hexagrid is your first movement and action phase. Well, your first move, and while you're in it, you can move around and also take actions. These. I can attack my opponents, or I can simply get behind cover so I can avoid getting hit by arrows or magic spells. For the time being, I'm just gonna move the mage behind the barrel and put him between the trap and the barrel. And as you can already see, there are a bunch of barrels in this world, and most of them are just there to be breakable objects. You can set on fire to create additional barriers, or simply break them down so you can move across, so you can get somewhere faster. For now, I'm just gonna try using this spell on this gremlin over there. Lovely. We set an opponent on fire. We'll try to carefully avoid getting hit by the enemy, and we will wait for our opponents to come closer to us. As you can see there, we can just waste our turn on simply moving around. But I would prefer if I could kill most of these But I would prefer to kill most of my opponents now before I get killed. Well, I'm not saying I'm gonna get killed, but I would like to avoid getting hit if I can. Now I'm just gonna wait here and let our opponents come closer to us. Yeah, I think I have something on. Nope. Only have a couple of healing potions and a throwing weapon. Our chances of hitting someone with the said weapon are rather, I'm not gonna say abysmal, but they're not good. Luckily, we do have a spear, so we can attack from a safe distance. Yes, I forgot to mention this. Depending on which weapon you're using, you will have a certain range. So, axes, maces, and swords, not to mention daggers, you have to be really close to the enemy to hit them. But in case of a spear, you can stand behind a cover and you have a tile between you and the enemy. Let's see, since this guy is in range and we can see him, so I'll try to kill him with a precision shot, which was accomplished. So for now, I'll just move my party somewhere where we can wait for the enemy to come towards us, and also check for other traps and unwanted interactables. And that's pretty much how the game goes. It takes a lot of waiting, patience, and also a lot of luck in order to use specific desired spells or abilities. As you can see, I'm currently looking for the injured goblin, which is this one. And as you can see, the game will highlight the opponent you're targeting, so you can recognize them. And also, you see as the portraits are placed in order, this indicates whose turn is next after you finish off with a set character. So for now, I think I'm gonna try to take care of these two as quickly as possible, and fail miserably at it. Luckily, the Bedomy's poisons, the goblin's poisoned, so we can just kill them off. Let the poison do its thing. But I kind of wish I didn't walk into a trap so quickly. And there's a beautiful demonstration of how the game's RNG punishes both you and enemies when you try to use magic. This magic usage is based on chance, so do not don't rely on magic too much. It really depends on your luck and some other factors, such as is your character injured, or what's he wearing, or the surrounding area he is in. So for now, I'll try to get my tank in the front and get the goblins to on him. Unfortunately, this isn't working, so the goblins are aiming for either the mage, our mage, or our spearman. So the situation we're in is not too good. And as luck would have it, the goblins are out of range, so I cannot simply... I cannot simply hit them from a safe distance. But luckily, I think I have a spell that can... Oh wait, that's... I thought I had a spell that would help me remove the poison, but no, I only have a healing spell. So let's see, if I'm smart with this, I will use a feint attack. Injure the goblin slightly, and then come in closer with my spearman and finish him off. Okay, that worked. But for now, we'll move the archer. Oh god, this was a bad idea. Okay, we'll get away from the... We'll get away from the trap. The unwanted plates and traps, and try to finish off the remaining goblin archers and mages. Anyway, this game is an interesting one, I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy the writing. I do enjoy the story writing and the characters that are present. But I find some parts of the animation ridiculous. Not to mention some certain casting dice rolls that I have to. Not to mention certain dice rolls are rather ridiculous sometimes. I mean, I had a nice. As you saw, I had a rather. I had an open area where I could shoot my spell or an arrow from, but my mage couldn't do anything. Now we'll try to avoid the traps.
Poison.
And what the hell?
Insidious.
What?
Go to Boron!
Yeah, this happens sometimes. So you either get killed due to undesired traps, or you simply collapse, or you simply walk across a trap and that a trap or another level hazard, and that stops your turn dead in your tracks. Luckily, once your character gets down, you can actually revive him within 3 turns after he gets injured. So if you have a second mage, or if you're capable of, or a very precise archer, you can actually finish off the fight rather quickly without any problem. Now let's try to. Okay, why does every grid-based game I'm playing usually have a tendency to go across level hazards or other dangers when I try to move something? This is something I'll never understand, honestly. Okay, let's use perception just to see if there's anything dangerous. Okay, let's avoid level hazards we have, and god damn it. We'll have to consider our movements rather carefully, and also use our attacks as smartly as possible. Damn it. Said that now, and look what happened. Okay. Let's finish off this quickly. But yes, as you can see, poison is not something that passes on after a few turns. It stays with you until the fight is over, or until you're dead. And this is what I meant when I said injuries that you should see a healer for. A small red line will show up on a portrait, and you will have several minuses on your traits, or attributes to be more precise. So for now, let's see if we can end this fight here and now before our whole party gets knocked over. Luckily, there is no permadeath in the game, but I would like to avoid unnecessary deaths, because once your party gets completely down, you have to retry the whole fight, and this is rather frustrating when you're.
What are you doing here?
Behold the second, the worst.
Wait a moment.
Which is rather frustrating which is rather frustrating because you... Let's try this again. The game can be frustrating when you have timed missions or battles that have specific victory conditions. For example, on one map, I had to defend a group of hostages from a couple of NPCs from an invading army, which was targeting them, which was mostly prioritizing targeting them, and not fighting my forces. So it was rather frustrating to repeating the mission because a set number of characters got killed is rather frustrating. I would prefer it if I had to deal with deal with missions with specific victory conditions, that the game would give me a chance to actually... Oh fuck. Okay, this is what I meant when I say interactable objects. Yeah, I wish the game... Okay, let's try this again. I kind of wish that when the game gave me some specific victory conditions, that the game would actually give me control over the set characters if I'm supposed to protect an NPC or something. Or actually, just to give you a quick demonstration, we'll restart this fight just for sake of ease.
We'll
demonstration.
Wait a moment.
Okay, let's skip it. We'll skip the cutscene for now, just to avoid spoilers. But as you can see, depending on the map, you will either have level hazards that you can activate on your own free will, and then kill off your opponents by simply interacting with the environment and without having to deal with them in person. But there is also a problem of the level interactivity, because enemies can and will use the said interactables to kill you as well. Thankfully, if the interaction or an attack or something goes wrong for any character, their turn ends automatically, so you don't have to worry about losing due to unfair conditions. It dwarfs my tank's turn, get my character on solid ground, and wait the turn to end. But yes, as you already saw, we can use interactable objects to either loosen our enemy's grip on us, or simply to create specific, or to create a specific choke point that we can defend, or to use a choke point that we can control. As you can see, I just put my characters on islands, and now we are somewhat protected from the fiery fires. But for now, I'm just gonna put my character on solid ground in order to avoid a fire. And that's how the game usually goes. You take on quests like in any RPG. You follow the main story, and as you explore the world, you will actually get side quests that will unlock new paths for specific. And before you ask, yes, this is actually how you traverse the world. You open a door icon next to the bell, which is usually door icon, which replaces the hotkey bar when you're in a city, and then you go to the world map and choose the location you wish to visit. And that's about it for the game. It's challenging. I'm gonna give it that. The story is interesting. The characters are also fun to listen to. and to read and to learn about. As for the combat, it takes some getting used to. I'm gonna be honest. If XCOM wasn't, if you played XCOM and liked it, I have a feeling you will like this game as well. But if you're not a big fan of turn-based combat and grid-like movements, I would suggest that you avoid. I would recommend that you avoid, that you just purchase the game, that you just look it on YouTube or something. Hell, if you want, I can also make a Let's Play of this. I will have some free time pretty soon, so I should be able to make more videos at a more frequent basis, to be honest. Anyway, that's it for... This is Blackguards, basically. It's a lot of... It's as I already said at the beginning of the video. It's a mixture of Dungeons and Dragons and XCOM. Well, this is basically XCOM fantasy. You have a small squad of heroes. You can upgrade them, which you can upgrade on to your specific playstyle, and you take them into battles. Granted, there is no permadeath, but if your whole party gets killed, you have to restart the whole fight. So there is a good mixture of risk versus reward, as you already saw. I can use the levels to my advantage, depending on what's in them, or I can simply find an advantageous position and protect my spellcasters and archers from a safe distance as they attack the incoming enemies, while my fighters tank the damage. Anyway, this is Blackguards. If you want to play it, I would recommend that you go to Humble Bundle and purchase them in a package. Well, in a bundle with the point-and-click adventures called Dark Eye and Memoria, which are technically sequels to the game as well. So the story is really interesting. I'll give it that, and it's usually dirt cheap. So if you're interested, go support. You can support Deadlick, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. It's a good game at heart. There are some issues with it, and I'm done. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Bedomy, and good night.